Hey, what's up guys? Pat here with another tournament of Power Deck Profile. This one is for Son Gohan, leader of Universe 7. This was a pretty highly requested one in the comments from the past two videos, so figured I would give you guys a Gohan deck. I tried to make it as competitive as I could, which is why at a quick glance you'll see there's not too many Universe 7 cards in here, just the necessary ones that come out early enough where we can build an overwhelming hand advantage to win the game. A lot of cards like Tien Shinhan pretty much bricked in testing, and they're just too slow. And I figured if we just went as fast as possible, as competitive as I could think to make it, then it would just be more successful. And for the most part, this deck has worked out pretty well. Not the most competitive deck. A lot of these tournament power leaders aren't going to be meta defining, but for those of you that want to try to play Gohan, I think this deck does a pretty good job and can definitely win you like a local for sure. So getting right into it, the leader, Son Gohan, has Warrior of Universe 7. You don't have to pay specific costs, so the Universe 7s that are in this deck, you can pay them with any symbols, so you don't have to worry too much about charging energy. You really only have to charge red energy in this deck, and possibly one blue if you're really trying to go for the ramp package that is in the actual deck. Then he has auto once per turn. When you combo the Universe 7 card from your battle area, you draw 2. And then he awakens at 4 or less and untaps 2 energy. Backside is exactly the same thing, except you can combo with Universe 7 cards in rest mode, which is basically only really relevant with the Vegeta and the Android 18 in the deck. But it is still relevant, and it does allow you to maintain pressure and hand size late in the game. So going right into the deck profile, we'll just go right down the line. Mass Saiyan the Mysterious Warrior. It's the only Overwhelm card we play. We put so many cards in the discard pile that Overwhelm 5 is really easy to do in this deck, and then just having the the 1 energy double strike, with 20k, really relevant. It's also the only removal we can have in the deck, and it's also one of the only cards in the entire game that comes out early enough that can disrupt things like the dog lock, the Bergamo, Basil, Lavender lock, as well as it can mess up Maiden's plans, and it can obviously do a lot of work versus Veggie. So it's just kind of like a catch-all card that comes out early enough that can disrupt our opponent's plans and let us just keep the pressure on. So that's why he's in here at 3. Next up is Ready to Fight Son Goku, standard 1-drop. Look at top 3 for Universe 7, put it in your hand, then shuffle your deck. Obviously, if you hit the prime targets hit off this are Backbone, Master Roshi, and Android 18. So you get one of those 3 cards, and then you obviously attack with your leader, and then you combo it and draw 2 more cards. So it's basically a 3-for-1. Really broken. Great turn 1 play. Allows you to maintain a huge amount of pressure on your opponent by keeping a huge hand size. And most of the cards in this deck basically do something when they're comboed with. So more cards usually just good. It's just a good thing. Next up is Objection. Objection is strictly in here for being on the play versus yellow decks. And some of the other decks in the format. Just turn 2 Objection and turn 3 hit is really backbreaking, especially if you can do back-to-back hits. You can basically keep your opponent off their game plan long enough that it will win you the game outright. You can change this to Unyielding Spirit Trunks or Senzu Bean for your preference. You can even change this to whatever you want, honestly. I just prefer to have Objection because hit is just that powerful. And we'll get to it when we get to him we'll talk about it when we get to him in the actual list. So next up is Raging Spirit Son Gohan. You guys already know this is good. We're a blue leader. You just combo 1 for 10k defensively. Get a 15 body on board. Helps us pressure. We are an aggro deck. And it's just a great card to use for defense. Since we're also a Universe 7 deck as well, we can play Infinite Energy Android 18. So we basically get 8 copies of this card, which is pretty much broken. Android 18 is obviously a little bit better because late game we can swing with this card, then swing with our leader and pay 1 and combo up to 25k and draw 2 cards. Really, really strong. Not much else to say. Saiyan Kaba, standard 1-drop in red. You know how it is. Just helps you build your hand, helps you awaken faster. Pressures with double strike. It's the only real way to awaken in the deck. But so far I usually can close out games without really needing to awaken. Or usually I just leave myself with no board because everything's getting comboed off anyway via Gohan's effect. So eventually my opponent's going to have to attack me and awaken. If you're struggling to awaken, You can side in other cards, such as, like, you know, you could take out these objections for no openings Gokus if you really wanted to, but so far it hasn't been too much of an issue. Excuse me. So yeah, next up is Backbone of Universe 7, standard super combo, searches off of our 1-drop. I really like this line of super combos that, you know, you can use at 5 because since we're going so fast, our opponent usually will get us to 5 and leave us there, which is enough to, you know, start using the Backbone. If they leave us at 6 or higher, since we're an aggro deck, we're probably going to close out the game before they even, you know, we're going to close out the game pretty quick. That's all you need to know. Gale Strike Vegeta, standard 2-drop with Barrier. He's honestly the worst card in the deck, but we needed red energy, and he draws us 2 cards late in the game, so that's why he's here. 4 Furthering Destruction Champa. We're an aggro deck. It's double strike. Yeah, of course we're going to play it. Same thing with Unbreakable Saiyan, Super Saiyan Son Goku. More super combos. We draw so many cards, and all of our energy is just basically used to combo. Yeah, just keep on the hand advantage. You'll win the game. Next up is Foreseeing Hit. This card, I cannot stress enough, this card is broken. Like, I knew this card was one of probably the top 3 cards in the entire set when it was shown. This card is absolutely snapped in half. You have no idea until you are on the, like, how play draw dependent this format is until you've seen Hit. If your opponent goes first and hits Hit and, you know, snipes your next, like, 2 plays out of your hand and then follows up with a second hit, you fall so far behind that it feels like it's almost an unwinnable game state. And, you know, heaven forbid they hit you with 3 hits in a row, which I have hit it. Ask Matt Combs. I've hit him with 3 hits. It's like an auto concede. You're just so far behind if you were on the receiving end of hit before your opponent can do it to you. The card's just really snapped. It's just a really powerful, aggressive body. It's, you know, still a 0 for 5k, so it's not even like it's a drawback for playing a high drop. And then it basically forces your opponent to pass their next turn, you know, depending on what's in their hand. And like I said, if you basically hit 2 of these back to back, you know, the card's already a time walk. If you double time walk your opponent, like, how are they supposed to win? There's just no way. Then we have 3 lightning fast hits. You know, just that's what it is. Against, like, yellow decks, if they bloodlust this card, then they better have the bloodlust for this card, because otherwise they're going to lose. It's just another way to close out the game. You can honestly cut this to 2. I very rarely cast it, but when I do cast it, you know, it feels really good. And then last up is Master Roshi Forged of Will. It's rainbow in this deck. It's our negate. Feels really good to negate their finisher for 1, and then next turn just turn this into a draw 2. Just really strong card. I still think it's one of the best cards in the entire set, along with Hit. So yeah, there you go. Just straightforward aggro. You know, sorry it's not like super heavy on things like the 3-drop and 5-drop Gohans, but I know I didn't feel like we needed them because the deck can basically win by the time the 5-drop Gohan comes out. And I found in testing that the 5-drop Gohan's effect is incredibly lackluster because it just drops a bunch of these ready to fight Gokus. You can just drop like 3 of these, or like a Vegeta and like 2 of these. There's no real, like, Universe 7 beater that, like, matters. So, like, dropping 3, like, you know, 5 or 15Ks is pretty much irrelevant. So I just didn't think we needed it. I think Hit is just a much stronger finisher in general. You'll just have so much more success playing aggressively and just, you know, sniping out all of their defensive options with Hit. So there you go. That's the Universe 7 Gohan deck profile. Leave me a comment and a like. Let me know how I did. If there's anything else you want to see from this set, you know, by all means, let me know. Get my product obviously tomorrow or sometime between tomorrow and Sunday. So I'll be brewing, and any other kind of decks I come up with, I'll be sure to send them your guys' way. You can find most of my scratch brews and stuff on Shenron's Lair, so you guys can check that out if you're looking for more lists. Alright, see you guys in the next video.